Back to our top story now. Herman Mashaba has announced his resignation as the Mayor of Johannesburg and as a member of the Democratic Alliance. This follows the election of Helen Zille as the party's Federal Council Chairperson yesterday. Mashaba had previously indicated that he would call it quits should what he calls the right-wing aligned DA faction win. He took office as the Johannesburg Mayor in 2016. Speaking during a media briefing in Johannesburg, Mashaba said he was deeply concerned about the politics of the Democratic Alliance.
I will no longer serve as a Democratic Alliance councillor, and therefore I'm required to resign as Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg, effective on the same date. I've given this decision considerable thought, and I've been tortured by the circumstances that have had to lead me to this moment. It is not in my nature to quit anything in life. I succeeded under the darkest days of our country's history when I was told that I could not be a businessman. However, I cannot be a willing participant in good conscience in a process that is placing the narrow internal interest of a political party ahead of the needs of the 5 million residents of our city, of the City of Johannesburg. The events of the past few months, and particularly this weekend, have required me to choose between my party and my country. I spent the past 3 years in governing, working tirelessly to rise above party politics in an attempt to unite a broad coalition. The events of this past weekends have left me at crossroads where I can no longer ignore the internal dynamics in the DA and the continued attempts to undermine my pro-poor agenda in the City of Johannesburg.
Well, watching this story closely has been my colleague Natasha Phiri, and she joins me now in studio. Thanks very much, Natasha, for joining us. So he's chosen the country over his party. What broadly was he saying?
Sure. One would say that he was spitting fire in a figurative, sense. But to take you through the mood, inside those chambers, it was very somber. You had MMCs coming through to hear what coming through to hear what Mashaba had to say. You had the DA leader also present there, and some leadership, DA members in the leadership, I beg your pardon. So, it was quite somber, Nompu. He had said that, as you correctly cited, that if Zille is now the FedEx leader, or I beg your pardon, the FedCo leader, he would then step down because the DA now does not represent the vision of Mmusi Maimane of One South Africa for all. So
he wasn't even prepared to just give it a little bit of time in Yana.
No, he was. Well, what they had said, Mmusi had said that he would actually would have loved Herman to actually serve his full term, but Mashaba was not having it anymore, So, also his resignation also raises fears, amongst the DA that they might lose the City of Johannesburg, which is quite huge. This is the economic hub of the country. So it'd be quite interesting to actually see, what actually happens in the DA moving forward. But Nampo, just to take you through his statement, I think one thing that actually caught my attention, and other journalists as well, he had correctly said, or cited himself, Mashaba had said, I've had to deal with individuals who'd rather say I spent more time on cutting grass than fixing our broken and aged infrastructure, which threatens disaster in the city. This is, honestly, this is quite powerful, a powerful statement. So I think interesting times ahead, and also the ramifications of this, Nompo, in terms of service delivery in the city, what will happen moving on and moving forward. But also to take you through the reactions. We spoke to the DA, I beg your pardon, we spoke to the ANC, and Dada had basically said that, listen, they've seen this coming, this is a long time coming, and they're not surprised at all. So I think for the ANC, theirs is probably just to work hard come 2021. So,
Natasha, we know currently in Johannesburg we have a coalition arrangement, and Herman Mashaba was a DA member and all of that. What happens next? Who's likely to be mayor, and will they still come from DA?
Well, the process now still has to unfold. We are told that a sitting needs to now happen, and of course the new mayor will be voted in. But of course they will let us know, in due time. But actually talking about that coalition, we have yet to hear from the EFF. I spoke to Mbuyiseni in the morning, and he had said that he would come back to me. So I think that reaction would be very important.
Yes. And then Mmusi Maimane, what's his future?
Nompu, a lot of people have now said that his future somewhat hangs in the balance for the party. Despite Helen Zille saying that they've got a cordial relationship with Mmusi, it doesn't seem to appear that way. I mean, today he was just very somber. He wasn't okay. I mean, he had branded Mashaba as his hero. And also highlighted that they were very close to each other. So, I mean, if Herman Mashaba, as your close ally, steps down from the party, you as the leader...
Just remind us, why did Mazibuko leave the DA all those years back? Because she was a favourite, wasn't she, for leadership?
She was the favourite. But also, this also highlights this important question. We actually posed this question to Helen Zille yesterday, saying that there's this perception that she can't let a black leader, rule or run the organisation. And of course, in her own words, she had said that this is not the case. But I mean, if Herman Mashaba is leaving, if, like you said, the likes of Lindiwe Mazibuko is leaving, I mean, where does this now leave Musi Maimane?
Yeah. And one last question. I read a lot of stuff over the weekend about the DA's leadership structure being quite complex and there being no realization of where the true power lies. Where does the true power lie within the DA?
Sure. Like you said, it's very, very complex. I mean, you have the Federal Council Chair, who's now Helen Zille. I mean, and so to speak, her position is very powerful in that it is the engine of the organization. And then you've got the party leader as well, Musi Maimane. You've also got the Federal Chairperson. But I mean, what Helen Zille had said yesterday, that she's going to let Musi actually, do what he does, and she'll stay in her lane. But it remains to be seen if she indeed will stay in her lane. So I think interesting times ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
And no doubt you'll be doing your excellent reporting on these issues going forward. Thank you very much, Natasha. My colleague there, Natasha Phiri.